Hello, welcome back to Healing Mama Podcast. I am Val, aka Healing Mama, and today's episode is sponsored by You Thought. No sponsors yet, guys, but I'm putting that out there into existence. I know that I'm just a beginner podcaster, but I know one day we will have some sponsors that will be lined up around the block to be a part of Healing Mama Podcast. So just wanted to put that out there. Before we get into the episode, I did want to let everyone know I created a Healing Mama podcast shirt. So this is the shirt. I love it. One time I heard, you have to be your biggest cheerleader. And so why not create a shirt to promote the podcast? My aunt has supported me, my mom, my brother, they have shirts. My husband has a hoodie. My daughter has a shirt. My son isn't ready for that yet. Like I said, he's shy, but it's okay in time. I will be my biggest cheerleader. And I'm excited. It's been so great, guys. It really has. It is definitely a journey. It takes work. It's not easy. It's something that I prepare for. Something that I want to always make sure I'm providing quality content in this sense of me providing my truth, my story, and insight. I was just talking to my cousin on the phone earlier, and I told her, my whole goal in this is to help people. And, if I've learned anything in 35 years, sharing it with my viewers, and if I can keep you from having to go through heartaches or hard lessons, or if I can motivate you or get you to see your situation or story from a different perspective and cut down those 35 years that you would have to learn to take it, or however many years, and I can cut that down into 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, then I did my part. I'm in this for service and to help other people. I make no money off of it. I just share my story, and I have a goal to just reach people and help them in any way possible. So I am so happy and so blessed on a weekly basis. I have people reaching out to me telling me, hey, you know what, this episode really helped me, or hey, I had some insight to a situation from this episode, this, that, and the other. I always get so much love on a weekly basis, and it's just a sign from my higher power telling me keep going. Even though it's not always easy, it doesn't get any easier. You just keep going, keep pushing through, keep making content because you are doing it for a reason. And so I'm so, so grateful for each and every one of you that has reached out to me, that has listened, that has watched the podcast on whatever platform or if you've told a friend or a family member, hey, check out this podcast. I appreciate you. Thank you for spreading the word. And we will go ahead and kick off today's episode. So we are back to kind of normal programming. I know we kind of went back to back there with some guests. But for a while, it would just be me and myself and I. So hang on tight. I have some ideas of what the future looks like. Of course, we will have some guests down the road, but I went back to back with you guys. So I just really want to get back to the one-on-one and sharing the story. And we will go ahead and kick off episode 22. The Old Me is Dead. I titled it that because I recently had somebody reach out to me, and it's happened honestly probably twice in like the last month, to where I have had people reach out to me and say, hey, you're not the same person that I knew 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 1 year ago. And I'll give you an example. I recently spoke to the lady who kind of kicked it off for me in the terms of shadow work in inner child healing work. And her and I were on the phone last week, and she's like, wow. She was like, the same Val that I spoke to a year ago, the same Val that I was working with a year ago is not this Val. She's like, how did you do it? And I just told her, I really just dug into it, put my heels into it, learned, had an open mind, an open heart, and went into it full throttle and decided, hey, it's my time to heal. It's my time to love myself. It's my time to reparent myself. It's my time to grow. And I'm not going to hold back anymore. And she was like, wow. She was like, I can definitely tell the difference. She's like, it's crazy because it's like I'm talking to a completely different person. And then prior to that, a couple weeks ago, I had a old coworker of mine reach out, and she was like, hey, like, this is not old you. Like, I don't understand. Like, who is this person? It's so weird to see you now. She's like, it's good. She's like, but it's weird because I don't even know who this version of Val is. And so that's why I titled it The Old Me is Dead. We will go ahead and get started with 2 quotes. This one is the first quote I saved the best for last. First quote is, I refuse to go back to the old me. I'm becoming a better person using my past experiences as lessons. And then the second one, which is my favorite, is the reason why a lot of people won't become who they want to be is because they're attached to who they've been. That's by Nichols. Now, let me repeat that one again. The reason why a lot of people won't become who they want to become or who they want to be is because they're attached to who they've been. I love that one. To me, that is who I was. I was so attached to who I was, the person that I was, my situations, my struggles, victim mentality, this, that, and the other. And I used to tell my grandma in the past all the time, I would tell her, Grandma, I am who I am. Like, this is it. And I would tell people that love me or hate me, take me for who I am and what I am. And I was stuck in that. And I almost had like a sense of pride in that. And it's weird because I look at it now and I had a sense of pride in my pain. I had a sense of pride in the attitude, the way I presented myself when I didn't present myself good at all. I was always ready to fight people, always ready to go, always ready to get in somebody's face, always coming from such a place of anger and like, rawr, I'm in your face. Like, what do you want? You want to tell me something? And so I was stuck to that. I was stuck on that person and I could never see past it. And so I couldn't grow. I was attached to who I was. I was attached to my story. I was attached to my pain. I was attached to my fear. And I could never see past that. And once I finally got to this state, which, guys, I'm still a baby in this stage, in this state of healing. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. Like I said, honestly, I did dive into it about a year ago with the shadow work and the healing and the energies and the frequencies, vibrations, all of that good stuff. I dove into it a year ago, but I would honestly say it wasn't until this year in January, February, when I really started to see a shift and really started to implement the practices and the tools and the daily things that I need to do in order to keep myself in alignment with my greatest and highest good. And so I couldn't get past any of that. And so I was keeping myself stuck. You're just hitting a wall over and over. And you know that every single day you're going to continue to hit that wall because you don't change. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, getting a different result. And that was the way I was living my life. And it was literally making me insane. I was always angry, always ready to fight. Like, literally, I kid you not, I would have confrontations at work. I would get into physical altercations at work. Like, I had no boundaries, no barriers. I was so angry, so mad at the world, and so mad, almost in a sense, at God at a certain point in time in my life, that I just had no respect for anyone else. Even though I used to tell people, like, you have to give respect to get respect. I don't necessarily feel that that's the truth at this point in my life now. At this point in my life, I'm going to respect you regardless. And that means when I meet you and I don't know you, I'm going to be respectful. I'm going to, be nice, kind, courteous. And when you show me that, you aren't respectful, I'm not going to jump in your face or say anything. I will part ways silently and I'll leave it at that. I don't ever have to be disrespectful to somebody. And I never used to be that person. I was always a person too that when something was going down, people would call me and be like, hey, Val, like, this is happening. Like, and I would be like, I got you. Like, say less. I'm ready to go, because I always had that animosity and that anger inside of me. And so I couldn't become who I am meant to be. And the person that I'm still becoming, and I have a long way to go. And so before this transformation, like I said, I was angry. I was always ready to fight. I was disrespectful. I had a chip on my shoulder. And it was just something that I feel really weighed on my life. Like, when I look at it as a sense of, now looking back, I can literally say that I was so angry. I don't even know if I had a quality of life. Yes, I was doing things. Yes, I was doing well in life, but I don't know if I had quality of life because I was still so angry and still so hurt that no matter what I was doing or where I was at or how successful I was, it was still something that I was unhappy with myself, and I was unhappy with the surroundings and my situations. And I couldn't see past it. And so that's one point, right? And then there's another part where, growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. I'm not going to say that, we were poor, but we were, sometimes struggling. We had times where, again, my mom was a single mom. It was hard for her. I never went to sleep without a meal. Never. And I'm blessed and grateful for that, because I know that there's a lot of people out there that go to sleep hungry. Let me put it to you this way. The life that my kids have is not the life that I had as a child. And now I tell them, you guys don't realize how good you have it. And before, like I said, I grew up with a single mom. I grew up in the south and west side of San Antonio, which, you grow up and you're surrounded by the people who have similar lives as you, single parents or, struggling, living day to day, check to check. And so I always, as I got older, told myself, I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. I don't want to struggle. And I would say when I was about 20 years old and I started working after I had my daughter, I'll never forget. I was making $8 an hour, and I told myself, this isn't going to be where I'm at. I was determined to make six figures by the time I hit 40 years old, which I was so pressed to do. And I kept leveling up and leveling up. So I kept leveling up, and it's crazy, right? Because in my mind, six figures was like, oh my God, I made it, and here I was setting this expectation for myself. And little did I know God had even bigger and better plans for me than six figures. And so I was working it. And then finally I hit the six figures, and I was like, okay, like, yay me, I'm excited. I'm awesome. We're doing great, but it came with hard work and all of that good stuff. But needless to say, the reason why I'm saying this is because old me was stuck to the six figures and determined to make those six figures. And I was adamant, and I wasn't going to let anybody stop me, and I was going to do whatever it took. And then I make the six figures, and it's like God telling me, like, baby girl, that's all you had planned was six figures? Like, no, like, let's think bigger and better. And so it's like now I don't have a set goal, right? I'm like, hey, God, like, you know better than me what I need. And again, not trying to push God on anybody. Everybody has different points of views, aspects. Whoever your higher power is, have that relationship, have that conversation with that higher power, and tell that higher power, this is my desire and this is what I want. And sometimes your higher power has more for you than you can even imagine yourself. And so now I'm at the place where I'm like, wow, like the old me is gone, because now I literally wake up and I tell my God, my higher power, I'm like, hey God, like, I don't know what the day has planned, but hey, guide me through it, and let's get at it. And so it's something that I had to break myself out of, right? Because I was so determined just to make six figures, and now realizing, like, why did I settle for six figures? Like, why did I cap myself out? And I think it was to prove a point, right? To prove to the world that I could do it, and I could be this strong woman who got married at 17 years old, had her first kid at 18, second kid at 20 years old. And at one point in time, her grandfather, and I use the word grandfather lightly, my dad's dad told me, at 15 years old, hey, you're going to be on food stamps, living off the government. Your kids are going to be dirty and disgusting, and they're not going to be anything, and you're going to be worthless. And so I was so adamant to prove to him that I could make it, even though he has no idea how I live my life. But in my head, I needed to prove him wrong, right? He has no clue what's going on. He could care less. But in my head, I needed to prove to him, hey, I'm going to be somebody. I'm going to make something of myself. I'm going to be financially stable. And so because of my ego, I had set such a low standard. And I don't want to say set a low standard in the sense of where, it sounds like, oh, six figures is a lot, Val. Like, you're saying that's low. For me and what I'm at and where I'm at now in life, I'm able to see that God has had so much more for me. But I'm saying because of my ego and the person that I was before, I was just working off of that chip on my shoulder. And so I was attached to that old self and that held me back. Who knows? Like, what if I had left it open to my higher power and I had found this journey sooner? Like, maybe I could have made way more at such a younger age and not held myself back, because that's what it is. In holding on to ourselves, we're so scared, right? We're scared of change. We're scared of trying something new. We're scared of putting ourselves out there. We're scared of researching new things because how are people going to feel if I'm doing this? How are people going to look at me if I put my feet on the ground and I do grounding? How are people going to look at me if I go to the park and I meditate? And we're so worried about other people and other situations around us when those situations and people don't even care what we're doing. We're more in our head, right? It's more the fear of not knowing, the fear of being different. And so I had this conversation with my husband the other day, and, he's starting to go through his own little journey, starting to go through his own path. And, I told him, what scares you? And he's like, the fear of what if I waste my time and that doesn't work? I'm like, aren't you doing that now? Aren't you wasting your time now? You feel crappy now. You feel this, that, and the other. You're wasting your time now. So what's different? If you did waste your time or it doesn't change, then it's the same result at the end of the day. But what if it does? What if implementing these new tools in your life and changing your views makes all the difference in the world? And so there are tools that can help you make those changes, but you do have to be willing to take that first step. And so the steps that I've taken, if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. So far, the steps that I've taken is I started the path of inner child work, shadow work, healing work, energy, setting boundaries, learning to take care of myself and pouring back into myself, because I can't pour into other people if I am running on E. And I need to learn to love myself in order to be an example to others of what self-love looks like, right? And so another thing is learning to channel my energy and working through, okay, this is happening for me, not to me. What is the lesson that I need to learn in this? And lately I've been getting a ton of situations to where I am able to stop myself and really look at it from a deeper perspective of, what am I supposed to learn from this? What am I supposed to get out of it? There are a lot of things that I am able to see now that I would have never been able to see in the past. So I do know that there's growth, and I know that I'm aligning myself every single day. Was it an easy journey? Hell no. It still has days where it's still hard. I will tell you, meditation is something that I need to do on a day-to-day basis just for me to feel like I am okay and I'm in line with who I'm supposed to be. But everything else, like working on myself, learning patience, not having, instances where I go off on people, and going back to the old Val. So I'll give you another example, and I'm always going to be real and honest with you, right? So again, I used to be in your face, ready to go, ready to fight, ready to tell you something the moment that I felt disrespected or even looked at me a certain way. And so a couple weeks ago, my family and I, we were at a store and, we're shopping. Again, I'm just trying to be in my zone, in my lane, vibing on all levels, and smile. I smile at people now, to where before I was always like, I had severe RBF. And now I'm like, okay, like, let me smile, I don't know these people, but if I smile at you and you're having a bad day, maybe that will help, hey, she was really nice. She smiled, whatever. And so, smiling at people, whatever. I'm trying to be the best version, spread light, love, happiness. So I am going through the racks and I'm looking at a dress, and a lady, I could feel her. She comes and she's like by the side of my face, almost in my ear, and I can sense her, right? But I'm like, okay, like, that used to be a trigger for me because you're in my personal space, you're in my bubble. And so old Val would have like looked at her, told her something not nice. And I just still stayed in my lane. I'm still like looking at it. And then I see a hand coming through, right? Like her hand is passing through the side of my face, reaching. And so then I turned and she was like, oh, I'm going to get this. And so at that moment, I was enraged. I was mad because she was in my bubble. She was being disrespectful. It's a simple, hey, excuse me, can I grab that real quick? Or do what I do. If somebody is looking at something that I want to see, I wait till they're gone and I come back. And so at that moment, I was super annoyed and irritated, right? And so a whole valve would have gone off. But I'm like, okay, no, this is something that is a lesson, because life is going to continue to give you the same lessons over and over and over and over again until you master what you were supposed to learn. And so for me, I know I'm still working. God's still working on me with patience and controlling my anger and controlling the impulses and what I used to do to what I'm doing now. And so I walked away and I was irritated, right? So I walked away and I just kind of like stepped away. My husband was doing his thing, my daughter was doing her thing, and I was very irritated. So I'm like, okay, Val, like, this is obviously a lesson. Like, you did all right. But at the end of the day, I did feel guilty because I let her take me to that point, or let the situation take me to the point to where I had been so irritated that it was too much, right? I had gotten so boiled up inside. And so still working on it, right? I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. And so still learning the life lessons and taking things as life is happening for me, not to me. What lesson am I supposed to learn out of this today? And so there's techniques, there's meditation. Like I said, that is something that I need to do on a day-to-day basis. And while I was talking to the lady that I started working with through the inner child shadow work, I told her, I was like, you know what, Marsha? I hated meditation when I first started. My mind was going so crazy and 1,000 miles an hour that I couldn't get my mind to shut off. And I don't think I've done a podcast on this, but if you're interested and you're like, hey, you know what, Val, my mind is always running, then let me know. I would love to share that story with you. So I could never get my mind to shut off. It was so bad too. I was on autopilot. Like, I would drive and it would be 25, 30-minute drives, and I couldn't even remember when I switched lanes, when I turned, when I did this, when I did that, because my mind was running 24/7 and it was just not giving me a break, right? I couldn't shut it off. So when it came time to meditation, it was very hard for me to be in stillness, in the sense of I couldn't quiet my mind. And meditation, that's a key point, right? You have to be in the moment. You have to be able to calm and quiet your mind. And I told her when I was on the phone with her, I was like, hey, I hated meditation. When you would tell me to meditate, I would dread it. And she would send me like guided meditations, this, that, and the other. And it was so, so hard for me. And now I'm at a point to where I don't need guided meditations. I can meditate by myself. I can quiet my mind, even if I'm not meditating, and I'm like, hey, you know what? My mind's going. Let me just calm my mind. Let me take it to a place of gratitude. And that's the key, guys. When you feel like the world is spinning and your mind is going 1,000 miles an hour and you catch yourself, stop. Stop what you're doing. Stop all of the craziness in your head and start being grateful. So tell your brain, you know what? I'm not going to let you rule my mind right now. You don't have control. I have control. So instead, flip it to, what am I grateful for? I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful that I'm breathing. I'm grateful that I'm healthy. I'm grateful this, that, and the other. Just start going through your gratitudes and you will see how much that changes your mood, your energy. And of course, there's other things like daily affirmations. Again, you'll see the writing on the mirror. It's not just scribble. It's my daily affirmations. I go to bed, I'm reading them. I wake up, I'm reading them. I brush my hair, I'm reading them. I pass by, I'm reading them. And so I repeating these daily affirmations over and over and over and over, because that becomes who I am. That becomes my character. That becomes my future, whatever it is that I'm writing on there, that I'm putting everything out there. Meditation, daily affirmations, positivity over negativity. We kind of went into that earlier. Grounding is another one that I do when I'm kind of feeling all overwhelmed and out of whack. I do some grounding. If you want to learn more, again, message me. I would love to do a podcast on grounding. You could do some research on it as well. And then last but not least, this is another one. It's going to seem a little out there and crazy, but it's called EFT tapping. And so it's emotional freedom technique. That's what EFT stands for. And so it's when you're super overstimulated, your nervous system is out of whack, and you need to get that energy out of your body. Because guys, believe me, your body is energy. And so you hold that and you build that up, and it's so pent up inside it. It makes you sick. It makes you stressed out. It can cause disease, because what is disease? Your body at dis-ease. And so EFT tapping is another one, and I would love to get into that one and explain it to you guys. Just remember, triggers give you an opportunity to find the true meaning of the issue. Looking deeper, what was my response or my reaction to the situation? So reflecting again, trigger. The lady was in my face with her hand on the side of my ear. What was the opportunity or the true meaning and the lesson to learn in it? Was, hey, don't resort back to old Val. Don't step into this in anger. Step away. You already know that this is going to be a problem. Looking deeper at it. Okay, anger issues, ego. Again, ego has been one that it's like every single day there's something that's showing me, hey, I got to work on my ego. I got to kill that ego. And realizing that every situation in life is happening for you, not to you. And it's something that you can learn. It's something that is going to help you be a better person. Release the old version of you. The old me is dead. The old me is dead. This new version of me, the version of me that's here to help people, the version of me that is here to put love, light, happiness, joy into the earth, into the world, into everyone that is in my circle, make a big difference. And again, release the old version of you. I get it's scary. Change is scary. It's never comfortable. It can make you uneasy. But is what you're doing right now working for you? If the answer is yes, then awesome. I'm so happy for you. Do what you do. Do you, boo-boo. But if it's not, step into change. And don't be afraid, because fear holds so many people back from living their best lives. And don't live in fear. Don't let fear have that power over you. Fear is just an energy. It's an emotion. And so why let it control you as a being, as a spirit? Don't let it happen. And if you need help, you have questions, you want to learn more, reach out to me. Again, call, text, DM, message me, whatever it is. I also have my email. I'll create a link tree where people can reach out to me, but don't be afraid to step into it, because you will get to see, once you make those changes, the life that you are creating is so much better. The peace that you have in your heart and your mind and your soul is so much better. And overall, you're happier. And so really, really remember that life is happening for you, not to you. Let go of the old you, let go of the fear, and step into the new version of you. And also, don't forget to follow me, share if you can. I appreciate it. Like and subscribe. We are on YouTube, podcasts, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I was going to say Twitter, but we're not on Twitter. I really wanted to share this one with you, but I am so blessed to have each and every one of you. I send you so much love, joy, peace, positivity. Until next time, I hope you have a great day and a great weekend. Bye, guys.